Sister Hosteller is going to talk with Sister Detloff. She's going to be your householder. They're going to be talking about the information out of the reasoning book on page 349. Why moral restraint was not removed when the Ten Commandments came to an end. Interesting subject, but we look forward to that. And she helps with her setting as making the first return visit on someone who's chosen.
It's good to see you again. I know we talked about the Ten Commandments and the Sabbath last time I visited you. Did you find anything interesting in that article or have any questions for me?
Well, I really enjoyed that article that you gave me, and it really made me understand how Jehovah's Witnesses view the Sabbath. You know, it's like I always hear stories about all the things that Jehovah's Witnesses believe, but I've never really gotten a chance to talk to somebody. So while I have the chance, I did want to ask you another question. So if you don't follow the Ten Commandments any longer, does that mean that there's no moral restraints that we have to follow?
Well, that's a really good question. To answer it the best, though, let's look to the Bible and a book that I have that goes right along with it. It's called Reasoning from the Scriptures. And here on page 349, we can find some information about that. So it's basically asking the same question, and then it says, not at all. Many of the moral restraints set out in the Ten Commandments were restated in the inspired books of the Christian Greek Scriptures. So let's read about that in Galatians 5, 18 through 21. And I'll have you read that if you don't mind. There we go. Galatians 5, 18 through 21.
This is furthermore, if you are not being led by Spirit, you are not under law. Now the works of the flesh are plainly seen, and they are sexual immorality, uncleanness, brazen conduct, idolatry, spiritism, hostility, strife, jealousy, fits of anger, dissensions, divisions, sects, envy, drunkenness, wild parties, and things like these. I am forewarning you about these things, the same way I already warned you, that those who practice such things will not inherit God's kingdom.
So this is where God put in some acts that were disgusting to him, morals we can follow. And if we look down the page here, it says the new covenant replaced the law covenant. So let's read about that too in Hebrews 8:10, and I'll read that one. Hebrews 8:10 says, "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, says Jehovah. I will put my laws in their mind, and in their hearts I will write them, and I will become their God, and they will become my people." So how much more powerful and effective these laws are than those engraved in stone tablets. We know, of course, that we're imperfect and we sin, but we do have God's undeserved kindness, which brings me to another scripture, which is in Romans 6:15 through 17. And if you don't mind, I'll actually have you read that one too. Romans 6:15 through 17.
What follows? Are we to commit a sin because we are not under law, but under undeserved kindness? Certainly not. Do you not know that if you present yourselves to anyone as obedient slaves, you are slaves of the one you obey, either of sin leading to death, or of obedience leading to righteousness? But thanks to God that although you were once the slaves of sins, you became obedient from the heart to that pattern of teaching to which you were handed over.
Thank you. So an illustration for this could be how a nation might change its constitution. Once the new constitution is legally in place, people no longer are required to obey the former one, even though some of the laws might be the same as those in the former one. Others may be different, so a person would have to go over the new constitution to see what laws now apply. So God provided 10 main laws for the nation of Israel, including laws about morals.
Well, that really helps it make a lot more sense. So you still have the moral rules, but they're just under a new covenant.
Exactly. God gives us guidelines through his word, the Bible, on what he loves and what he hates.
Well, thank you so much for the information. It really, like I said, it really clears everything up, and it clears up some of the things that I've been hearing about Jehovah's Witnesses. And I really like that you answered straight from the Bible. Do you have any more of those magazines?
Yeah.